Fine. Now I would like to discuss with you about the basic structure of eyeball. You know, the eyeball is mainly made up of 3 layers. Now we do concentrate on those 3 layers. See, here the outermost layer of the eyeball. This is outermost tough, opaque, fibrous layer. This is opaque, okay, opaque, and it is opaque, tough, fibrous layer. This layer is known as, it is sclera. The outermost layer of the eyeball is known as sclera. Just I told you, it is eyeball is made up of 3 layers. So this is the outermost layer, very tough layer, because the main function of this sclera is protecting the internal organs. So this is what is known as, it is a sclera. This is the sclera. So the sclera is anteriorly, it is somewhat bulged like this. See here. It is somewhat bulged like this. This bulged portion of the sclera is known as, it is a cornea. It is a transparent in nature. This is what is known as, it is a cornea. This bulged portion. This is a tough which protects the internal organs of the eyeball, and this is transparent. This sclera is opaque. The cornea is transparent because it allows the light to pass through the enter into the eyeball. So that this posterior part is a sclera, and this bulged part is cornea. This is outermost layer, and this the sclera is it is white in color. Beneath the sclera there is middle layer. This middle layer is known as, it is choroid. The middle layer is known as, it's a choroid. So choroid is vascular in nature because it has the blood vessels. This part, choroid, is a vascular in nature because it has the blood vessels. The numerous numbers of blood vessels are present in this layer. So numerous numbers of blood vessels are present in this layer, and hence it is nutritive in function. It provides nutrients to the internal organs of the eyeball. So anteriorly the choroid becomes somewhat thick. In anterior position the choroid becomes somewhat thick, triangular shape, thick. This anterior thickened part of the choroid is known as ciliary body. This is what is called as ciliary body. Ciliary body, it is muscular in nature. So ciliary body, it is a thick vascular and muscular structure. This is what is called as ciliary body. So that the choroid, the middle layer, choroid, is actually it is having the vascular, means the blood vessels and vascular in nature. This thick part of the choroid is known as ciliary body. So again from the ciliary body there arises these protruding structures. The ciliary body gives the protruding structures. These structures are known as This structure is known as iris. See, the iris is a opaque, muscular, pigmented and perforated diaphragm. It is a muscular in nature and pigmented as well as opaque perforated diaphragm. This is what is called as, it is a iris. Iris is muscular and it is perforated, muscular, perforated, pigmented part of the eyeball. So that here means the choroid has components like this iris and ciliary body. So in between the iris there is an aperture known as pupil. Aperture is known as pupil. This aperture just works like an aperture of a camera. The pupil, it regulates the amount of light to enter into the eyeball. It decides the amount of light to enter into the eyeball. So the pupil, it regulates, it decides the amount of the light to enter into the eyeball. And again, one more important component of the choroid is suspensory ligaments. These structures, which are again rises from the ciliary body, somewhat elongated structures, elastic in nature. These suspensory ligaments, these are the component of choroid, known as suspensory ligaments. So the choroid is actually made up of three components of its woven. One is ciliary body, then the iris and the suspensory ligament. These suspensory ligaments hold the lens in between, so that here biconvex lens is held in between. It is held in between the suspensory ligaments. This is what you call it as, this is the lens. So the lens, it is held between the suspensory ligaments. Suspensory ligaments contracts and relaxes. As the suspensory ligaments contracts and relaxes, so the shape of the lens also changes. So that this is the working nature of suspensory ligament, because the suspensory ligaments relaxes and contracts. Relaxation and contraction is the main function of this suspensory ligaments, and hence the lens also changes its shape, and it actually decides the focal length of the image. Anyway, this is about the choroid layer. And the innermost layer of the eyeball, as I had already told you, there are three layers. First is the sclera, second is choroid, and third one is the innermost layer is retina. So retina is the innermost layer, and anteriorly it ends below the ciliary body. Here it ends, it will not continue. This layer is known as photoreceptive layer because it is sensitive to the light. Photosensitive layer. Retina is this layer is a photosensitive layer because it is sensitive to the light. Why this layer is sensitive to the light? Because it has photoreceptive cells, the two components of the retina. So this is the important layer, the main layer of the eyeball. So this is the layer retina. So retina has mainly two components. One component constitutes neurons and another component constitutes photoreceptive cells. Photoreceptive cells. These photoreceptive cells are known as rods and cones. Known as photoreceptive cells. So the photoreceptive cells are mainly two types, rods and cones. Remember, the rods are sensitive to the dim light, whereas cones are sensitive to the daylight or bright light. In the rods, there are 170 millions of rod cells are there in the retina, and 7 million cones are present in the retina. So that these are the main components of the retina, rods and cones as well as the neurons. So the retina converts light energy into action potential energy. It just acts like a transducer. You know what is transducer? Transducer is a device which converts light energy into means one form of energy into another form of energy, whether it is light energy, whatever may it be. So that here the retina converts light energy into the action potential energy, and that action potential energy activates the cells, and the signals are carried through the optic nerves which are connected to the brain, which are present positive region of the what you call it as eyeball. So that this is what is called as the retina. Then there is a space which is known as, so these are, what are these? These are the optic nerves, known as optic nerves. And this is space, within the eyeball is filled with the fluid known as, this fluid is known as, it is vitreous humor. It is known as vitreous humor. And posteriorly there is the space in between lens and the cornea. In between the lens and cornea, this space is also filled with the fluid known as aqueous humor. This aqueous humor is actually secreted by the epithelial cells of the ciliary body. So this is what is called as aqueous humor. This is what is called as aqueous humor. So this is all of about the basic fundamental structure of eyeball. Students, we will discuss in detailed account the functions of all these parts of eyeball. Students, thank you.